lay the eggs is the way life ends. Clerk, cool hand, cock and saw. The 8 lay the eggs is the way life falls.
Here at Shelton High School, we have several challenges. Okay. First of all, our student body is very fractured. We have Caucasian students, we have Native students, we have Latino students, but even within the groups are separated. Hi, my name is Alison de Mendez. I'm the ELL teacher at Shelton High School, and I work principally with Latino students from Mexico and Guatemala. I studied Spanish at the University of Washington, and my BA is in Spanish. When an ELL position opened up, I moved over to that, and I haven't left, and that was 22 years ago.
We need to deconstruct and see ourselves, see the beauty in ourselves. Because through the K through 12 educational process, our students are told otherwise. They're told they're not beautiful. They're told they're not intelligent.
We have people who just don't believe that school resources should be spent teaching these kids. You know, in fact, the other day, a student was in here getting help, and another student walked by outside the door and said, "I don't know why we have to teach them. Why can't they just speak English?" And of course, we called him on it right away. I went to that student's teacher and said, "This is not okay," and she supposedly spoke to him. But it's a prevailing attitude. You know, the kids have so many obstacles in their path, but when it comes to those personal attacks like that, how do you defend against that? That's one thing that's one humongous challenge that the kids have, and that I have, because I can't, it hurts me when people hurt them. I mean, really, honestly, I really can't stand it.
So these kids have problems in the schools. They want to be accepted like a 100% American, but they're rejected because they're looking like a Spanish. I don't know if it happened to you.
Something I'm really proud of about the high school is not the high school, it's the students. I truly love my students. They're amazing, and here I'm going to get all teary-eyed and everything. They are the most incredible kids in the world. They don't have enough to eat. They don't have enough money. They have to worry from month to month if they have a place to live. They have to worry about immigration coming and picking them up.
When their parents are taken, or family members, that isn't always the parent, but it's brothers and sisters and whatever, aunts and uncles, they don't know what's going to happen next. And they are very, very scared, obviously. So that is something that we have happen at least on a yearly basis, where we'll come to school in the morning and find out that there's been a big raid on a house. And many of them live together, and that there have been people taken away, and kids they can't concentrate on school. So one of the issues, obviously, that we have is that kids don't do as well as they should do in school. When I look at their grades sometimes, I just go, how in the world are they doing what they do?
You know, one day immigration came to town, and they went doing a raid and this complex. And all this complex, all the Guatemalan family living there. That day, all the kids not came to school because they're afraid. So I went to check it out. What happened? We missed 45 kids, 50 kids, 60 kids. So I went to see what happened. And I went there, all the, like a deadline, all silent in the apartments, all the cars, nobody opened the door. I knocked doors and nobody opened the door. I see for a window, I see the kids hiding underneath the bed. Hiding. You know, and that's the sad things, you know, that kind of phrase.
Like most days, Anna Leva comes straight home after school. But instead of hanging out with friends or doing typical teen things, these days she's doing the cooking, paying the bills, helping her younger cousins with their homework, and then going to work herself. That's because Anna's mother and aunt were taken away by INS agents in the middle of the night last week for being undocumented immigrants.
I was so used to coming home from work or just from school or just from anywhere and going into my mom's room and telling her I'm here or giving her a goodnight kiss. And it's hard to know that she's no longer in her room.
Anna says even with their grandmother trying to help out, all of the children are having a hard time.
It's been hard for me concentrating in work because sometimes I think about my mom. How she might be over there, sad without us being there with her.
When nobody's interested in the students, how do they progress? That shows their amazing, incredible fortitude, because they come back every day and attendance is really great. I mean, they just come back because they want to learn, they want to graduate. However, there are students who do fall through the cracks, and one of them is a deaf student we have here. Again, there hasn't been a lot of interest in providing the services that that student needs. It's been more along the lines of, what can we do to send him somewhere else? And true, we don't have resources. Money is very short. It's always an issue in public education, especially now. Money is tremendously short. The ball gets dropped at this school in terms of the immigrant students. Often teachers don't recognize, somehow there's a disconnect between a foreign last name, a foreign sounding person speaking with an accent, and failure in class. Nobody seems to think, oh, maybe this is a language issue, maybe we need to contact somebody and find out what's going on with the student. Does this student need more services? Does this student need to be in the ELL classroom instead of in regular English? But it doesn't happen. They just fail and fail and fail and fail until somehow, miraculously, I hear about that student and then I investigate and take steps to help. But that's another really big challenge. The students are mine, they're not everybody's, and that's another big issue. Your students were doing this, or your students can't pass the test, or can I send your students to you? You know, and I feel like they're all of our students, but many of the other people don't feel that way. We have several programs. One is the food bag program, because a lot of the students, especially now with the economy the way it is and with immigration issues, they just aren't working enough to be able to buy enough food. So once a week I get a delivery of bags that were donated. And honestly, I don't know who does that. I just have always just accepted them gladly. But the students take them. And in fact, there's one student who's having a really big problem right now. Yesterday he asked me if he could take 4. And that tells me that they don't have enough to eat, which is really unbelievable. racial issue is everywhere. The lack of funding is everywhere. The lack of interest is everywhere. It's just a statement about our society, I think, and what's important or what's not important.
So is there anything else that we haven't covered that you would like to add, that you feel is important to add?
I think it's really amazing that people like you come around and show interest. I really, really love, and here I go again, I just really love that you guys care, because so few people do.